Hey, this is Yulia and welcome to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the dark side of Canada. What are some disadvantages of Canada? Why shouldn't you be moving to Canada? Let's find out. A huge disclaimer before we start. These things are not disadvantages to me, but I've heard people saying that they don't like these things. These were either Canadian people, residents, students. So, yeah, don't tell me to go back to Russia because I love it here in Canada. Let's go.
Don't tell me what to do!
The first disadvantage of Canada is climate, but only if you're coming from a warmer city or from a warmer country. Let's say you're from Spain and you're used to plus 20 Celsius in winter and then plus 40 during the summer. Unfortunately, in Canada we have fall, we have winter, we have spring. Now it's around 0, but this winter is actually warm. Normally it will be around -20 depending on the city. You can always go to Vancouver, to BC, where the average temperature during the winter is 10 degrees Celsius. But still, you need to keep in mind that Canada is colder than, Miami or any other warmer cities. Also, all the major cities are super humid. Literally, during the summer, if you go take a shower and then you go outside, 2 minutes you're gonna be all wet and sweaty. Your hair, if you have curly hair and you straighten it, it's gonna be like this. Humidity here, in Montreal and Toronto, crazy. You need to keep that in mind too. Also, humidity in winter means that it's gonna be so much colder. When it says it's -5 outside, it says also feels like -15 because of the humidity, because of the wind, because of the other factors.
Climate here is very cold.
The second downside of Canada is taxes. The more money you make, the more taxes you pay. When you're making minimum wage or you're working part-time, you're not making a lot of money, so you're not paying a lot of taxes. But when your salary is, 100K, you're gonna be paying so much money to the government. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but in some countries, the taxes are 6%, 15%. Here, you can easily pay up to 30-40%. And if you are a business owner, you're also paying those taxes on top of the person's salary, so you'll be paying 50 something. But in Canada, you see where your taxes are going to. You can see all the infrastructures, you can see things the city does for people. Let's say they build in another metro line here in Montreal. So yes, you pay a lot of taxes, but at the end of the day, you can see and get help from government. Let's say healthcare is free, so you should always decide for yourself whether you want to pay a lot of taxes and get a lot of cool stuff, or you don't want to pay a lot of taxes and then pay for all your healthcare, blah blah blah. And speaking of healthcare, disadvantage number 3 is healthcare. First thing here is the wait lines. So when you come to a hospital, you can wait for hours unless you're dying. So if you have a fracture in your arm or something happened to you, you can wait for hours. 6, 8, 12. Sometimes they be hey, how are you feeling? You okay? You're not dying or something? You can just take the painkillers, go home and come back tomorrow at 9 a.m. I mean, in Russia, if you go to emergency or whatever, they'll serve you right away. That's not even a question, are you dying or something? When I broke my kneecap, I went to the doctor, they'll be come, we're gonna fix everything right now. Here, they'll be yeah, just wait in line. But we're talking about free healthcare, so if you have a private insurance, you pay money, you get good service. Otherwise, you sit in line. But sometimes even at private clinics, you can have an appointment at 1 p.m. and then still wait for some time to get into the doctor's office. I don't know how the situation is in your country, but in Russia, you pay money, you go see the doctor.
True. Very true.
Also, if you're dying and you need to get into ER, you can always call 911 whatsoever. I've never had a chance to do so, thankfully. but I've heard it costs a lot if you don't have insurance. I mean, private insurance. If you only have like, I don't know, RAMQ, if you're like in Quebec, like the public one, the free one. So you're gonna pay a lot of money. Again, some things are not covered by the provincial insurance, so you need to keep track of things that are covered and that are not covered. Also in Russia, you can call the ER being like, hey, I have a fever, can you come and like pick me up, and then we'll go to the hospital. Here they'll be like, just take a bus, just take an Uber, just like come to the hospital. Like, why would we go pick you up?
Oh no, are you dying?
Also, a huge disadvantage for some people is that a lot of stuff cannot be bought without the prescription, meaning contacts, meaning birth control, antibiotics. All these things you could buy in a Russian pharmacy, but here you will need a prescription. Yes, you can always buy contacts online, but for, let's say, birth control, you will need to see your family doctor and then get a prescription so you can buy those pills. On one side, it's cool to regulate everything with prescriptions, therefore people will not buy like random stuff, but it is also not very convenient if you know this pill will help you with, I don't know, your fever or whatsoever. You will need to go see a doctor and then get a prescription and then like go to the pharmacy. It's just gonna take a lot of time. Thing number 4 is my favorite, and it's called bureaucracy. Papers, papers, papers everywhere, especially if you are an immigrant. Just go get some paper because you'll need so much of it. So if you want to apply for this, you will need to print a lot of forms. If you want to apply for that, you will need to print a lot of forms, send it to like who knows where. Especially in Quebec, like when I applied for my residency, I had to print like a pile of papers and send them to Nova Scotia. For some reason, I don't know, the processing center was there. So I had to print all these papers, send them to Nova Scotia so they can like upload my documents, my file to the federal system. Sure, if you need to get access to your taxes, like to Quebec ones, you'll need to get your notice of assessment, but to get that, you will need to call them and then they will send you a letter, and in this letter, you get the point. Like, be ready for that. But again, the level of I hate it, it depends on the country you're coming from. Because in France, the bureaucracy is even worse. Portugal, I've heard a person saying, oh yeah, I waited for my like work permit for like 2 years and it's considered fast here. And I'm like, like what the hell is this? 2 years is considered fast. No, like Quebec is slow, Canada is fast, but also your immigration depends on the number of like places available for immigrants each year, because Canada accepts 400,000, Quebec accepts, I don't know, like 40,000 per year. Wow. Again, federals work amazing. The support is very good. Sometimes they make mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes in my applications, like in my work permit, study permits. I can film a whole different video about that, just saying. But the local ones, the local governments, they're a bit slow. Maybe less people work for that. Again, for some people, it's fine. Waiting for like, I don't know, 6 months for your paper. For some countries, it's fine. For some countries, like, oh my god, this is so long. Disadvantage number 5. Weed. For some people, illegal weed might be a bad thing. Again, it depends on the country you're coming from. My mom is like, oh my god, Yulia, you're gonna smoke weed, you're gonna be a junkie, you're gonna like die on the streets, you're gonna get homeless and stuff like that. But a lot of countries, they're okay with weed legalization, so they don't find it something like horrible, something like bad. Again, people smoked weed all the time in Canada. It doesn't matter, was it legal, illegal. When it was illegal, you could walk on the street, people will be smoking joints. Now it's legal, it's the same thing. Like, it's a bad selling point for agents when they're trying to promote, you know, like language courses for kids. Like, you know, they come, they're like 14, 16, and then be like, oh my god, legal weed, we're gonna smoke weed. But when you are, I don't know, in your 20s or older, you kind of have your brain here, you know, like how things work, and you can decide for yourself. So again, for some people it might be the worst part about Canada, but for others it's gonna be just like, whatever, I don't smoke anyways.
Get weed! Get the weed!
And reason number 5 is actually the funniest thing that I've heard, and it's homeless people. I remember one time a famous blogger came from Russia and she was like, oh my god, there are so many homeless people in Vancouver. Well, first of all, homeless people are everywhere except for Cyprus. I've learned it a week ago, so apparently there are no homeless people on Cyprus. So saying there are a lot of homeless people in Vancouver, well, yeah, because it's not that cold in winter and they're not gonna like freeze their asses off when it's like -40 outside. Obviously, this is why there are a lot of homeless people in like California. Same reason, in Hawaii. Like, people who say there are a lot of homeless people in Canada, well, where are you from? Like, where do you live? Except for Cyprus. If you're from Cyprus, I can get it, but like, why are you always saying there are a lot of homeless people? They are everywhere, in every city, in every country.
Sounds about right.
Downside number 6 is that Canada is expensive. Well, in a sense, it is, but always think of the minimum wage. People complain that, oh my god, the cell services are like $50 per month. Yeah, but the minimum wage is $14. So basically you can work for 4 hours and pay for your cell phone for the entire month. It's hard when you just come to Canada and you start, like converting the currency to your local currency, to your local like salaries. But once you start working here, the prices will start to make sense. Again, some things are expensive, like cell phone. Like in Russia, you can get a cell phone plan for like, I don't know, $3 unlimited, like for a whole month. Here I pay like $50-$60. But again, in Russia, no one will pay you $14 an hour for doing like serving jobs, cleaning jobs, all the kind of jobs. Disadvantage number 7 is kid stuff, all the kindergartens, playgrounds. Again, it all depends on where you're coming from, because in Russia, you go like downstairs, we have this like, tall buildings, like condo buildings, whatever. You will have a playground literally like everywhere. Like each house will have its own playground. Here in Canada, like in Montreal, let's say, I'll need to walk for like 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes to get to a playground. Also, kindergartens, some moms complain that, oh my god, my kids sleep on the floor, what the hell is this? Because, again, in Russia, we have like beds, normal beds. Here, they all sleep on the like yoga mats. I don't have kids, so I cannot like tell you on like what things they sleep on, but I'll put some pictures in here. So yeah, some moms complain. They're like, oh, I don't like that, I don't like that. So basically they like send their kids to a private Russian kindergarten so they can sleep in the bed.
I had a comfy bed with my own blanket.
And the last but not the least, Canada doesn't have European products. This one gets me every single time. People complain that, oh, when I used to live in like UK, they had this, they had that. Well, first of all, you will most likely have your country's store in Canada. B, North America is not Europe. For sure, you will not have your European products in the supermarkets. Unless you go to Adonis, if you live in Montreal, they have Russian sunflower seeds, they have like Arabic, different like baklava, all this kind of stuff. Yes, but like complaining that in Canada you cannot find European products, well, there are a lot of North American alternatives to them. Like, I don't think there's something you used to eat or used to wear that you cannot find here. I feel like in Canada, in North America in general, the choice of products, of things is bigger than in Europe. So if you're craving your pelmenis or pirogis or whatever you used to eat at home, you can always go to a Russian store, Ukrainian store, your country store, and get that food from there. And this is it for today. If you live in Canada, let me know in the comments what you don't like about Canada. Maybe I missed something, and I'll see you very soon. Bye!